What's going on, fight fans? It's your host Sebastian. I'm back with the boxing tip. Once again, I hope you guys had a good Christmas. I know I did. But the year is coming to an end, and I'm not sure if any fight at the end of this year is going to top the Boxing Tips pick for fight of the year. Now, as you guys see from the picture, you already know what fight it is, but let me just talk about one thing before I get into it. This is based purely off of my opinion. This fight was important to me as a boxing fan, and it was also tremendously entertaining to me as a boxing fan. A lot at stake for this fight, and one of the most competitive matchups this year between number 1 or 2, whichever one you decided to rank them, or it could be lower or high, or it could be lower or whatever. But in my opinion, number 1 or 2 ranked Carlos Cuadras, the WBC champion at 115 pounds, and number 1 ranked pound for pound fighter on many lists, Roman Chocolatito Gonzales. Now, it was a big deal for Roman Gonzales because he jumped up in weight to fight number 1 or number 2 ranked Carlos Cuadras for his WBC belt, to be the first Nicaraguan to capture 4 titles in 4 weight classes ever. It's never been done in the history of boxing. I know Alexis Arguello might have come close to it. As you guys know, Roman Chocolatito Gonzales is basically Alexis Arguello's protege, but now has become a great fighter in his own right, and in my opinion will be a future Hall of Famer and one of the all-time greats to ever fight in the sport of boxing. With all the importance of this fight out of the way, let's get into the actual fight itself. Carlos Cuadras is a very fast, flashy, very good footwork, combination, hard-hitting fighter. Very skilled, very talented, very athletic, very cocky, very confident, very entertaining, and quite hilarious if you actually watch some of his interviews. He's a very likable person. And he's really hyper, so energetic. Every quality that you would want in a boxer, Carlos Cuadras has that. Okay, he is personally my favorite fighter out of Mexico. All right, being that I am of Mexican heritage, my father is from Mexico. I never base how I feel about a fighter. I never consider a fighter to be good based off of their origins. I consider a fighter to be good based on their ability or what they do in the ring. But, as me and Carlos Cuadras share the same heritage, to me it makes me proud to see such a great fighter from Mexico compete at the top level of the sport. Alright, that's important for me. Not that it, affects my decision on who I picked for Fighter of the Year. It's just that much more personal for me. And then Roman Gonzales, one of my favorite fighters, very highly talented, very highly skilled, combination, offensive genius combined with defensive mastery, and just a very high profile fighter. You know what I mean? Coming from a country where they don't produce, champions on the daily, you know what I'm saying? Not like American or boxers or, Ukraine or, the Eastern Europeans, America, Mexico, you know what I'm saying? They're not producing championship level fighters on a daily basis, or even very frequently at all. So Gonzales is a very special fighter in my eyes, and he is just one of my favorite fighters to watch in the ring because no one does what he does in the ring. We have not seen a fighter like Chocolatito before. That's in my opinion. At least I never have. But once again, with that being said, the actual fight itself, in the first few rounds, Chocolatito asserted his dominance right away, hitting Carlos Cuadras, getting him to backpedal, having to get him to move around. Anytime Cuadras would mount an attack, there was Chocolatito ready to give it right back to him. You know what I'm saying? Making Cuadras miss. It started off as what seemed to be a dominant performance by Gonzales. Towards the middle of the fight, now Cuadras starts to pick it up. You start seeing him get energetic, start stomping his feet, start throwing a lot of counter punches, moving around. Chocolatito trying to offset his offense, and it was just back and forth, back and forth. And then you get into the later rounds, and now Carlos Cuadras comes completely alive, starting to just let the combinations fly to the body, to the head on Gonzales. Gonzales dishing out the punishment right back, hurting Cuadras with a few shots to the head. Cuadras hurting Gonzales with a few shots to the body and to the head, busting up Chocolatito's face. Both guys are just going at it, 12 rounds. Carlos Cuadras using his footwork to try to offset, you know what I'm saying, Gonzales's, you know, the pressure that he was applying on Cuadras, you know what I'm saying. But both guys were showing good defense at the same time. I mean, a lot of people criticize Gonzales after this fight for being so busted up. Well, like I said in a previous video, what do you expect when you go ahead and jump another weight class and take on possibly the best fighter at 115 pounds, who is very good offensively, very tricky when it comes to his footwork, and has a pretty good defense? You know what I'm saying? What do you expect? You don't that was never an easy. For anybody who thought Gonzales was just gonna go in there and blow Cuadras away, it's a foolish. I mean, it's not foolish, I guess, because if you never heard of Cuadras or never seen him fight, you know, I guess it was easy to assume that, but that wasn't the case. I knew Cuadras was a threat to Gonzales the moment the fight was announced. You know what I'm saying? Just because of his ability, or because of what he does in the ring. He's fucking fast as all hell. You know, when it comes to talking about his attributes, he has good power, good speed, good IQ. He knows what he's doing in the ring. He has good positioning when he uses his feet, you know. And then you want to talk about his skill. His punch selection is amazing. His combinations that he throws are super effective. From the body to the head, effective. And the same thing can be said about Gonzales. He is an offensive genius. His punch selection, he's so balanced with his punches. He can throw 8, 9, 10 punch combinations, yet remain completely balanced and stay defensively responsible. We don't see that in many fighters today, or at all. You know what I'm saying? This was, in my opinion, one of the best matchups of the year, for sure. When you want to talk about top fighters facing top fighters, two A-level guys going up against each other, that was this fight. Not to mention the competitiveness inside the ring, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Cuadras kind of got on the bicycle a little bit, but once he started to kind of get the rhythm of Gonzales down, or kind of figure out his tactics and just kind of adjust to his style, it was back and forth action all night. I seriously thought somebody was going to get knocked out. And I'm actually happy no one did, because it continued and continued, and it went on and it went on. Fucking 5, 6 punch combinations from Cuadras, starting from the body to the head. Gonzales comes back 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 punch combinations back at Cuadras. Whether they're all landing or not, it was just such an action-packed fight, and I feel like it was a very overlooked candidate for Fight of the Year. I don't know why, but I didn't overlook it. To me, this was the most entertaining fight that I've ever seen. It was entertaining before the fight even fucking started, because, like I said in a previous video, once again, I was biting my nails. I do bite my nails, but I bite them especially when I watch boxing. And when I get nervous, I started sweating in my palms, my feet. I have like what is that called? Like shaky leg syndrome, or restless leg syndrome. Both my legs are just like I was hitting double bass pedals or something, and I was leaned forward. I had to take a shit and I didn't want to get up. Oh, dude, I was just nervous as hell for this fight. I get real passionate when it comes to these boxing matches. You know what I'm saying? I was in the recliner rocking back and forth. Dude, it was nuts. I haven't felt that way about a fight in a while. I think Nicholas Walters versus Lomachenko, I felt that way too. But after the first round, my excitement went away, because I knew it was a done deal from there. When it came to Gonzales Cuadras, the first 3 rounds, gave me the impression that this was Gonzalez's fight. But then you get to the middle portion of the fight, it appears that Cuadras is starting to mount this sort of rally, or just kind of slowly get himself into the fight, into the mood of the fight. And then in the last parts of the round, Cuadras comes alive, starts tagging Gonzales dishing that punishment right back. Dude, it was an amazing fight. It was a beautiful fight to watch. Entertainment, plus very good boxing skills being displayed by both guys. Man, it was just everything you could ask for in a fight, you know. At least for me it was everything that I could possibly ask for in a fight. I still to this day have watched the fight over and over and over again, and every time I watch the fight, for some reason I can't get a clear winner out of the fight. So when the fight was done, when I watched it the first time, I didn't even care who won. I just know that I had such a brilliant fight. This fight didn't hurt either guys. I mean, yeah, you know, Cuadras lost his, you know, WBC title, but he showed the world that, hey, I can hang with the #1 pound for pound fighter. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a lot of things were taken away from this fight by both guys. Now there's a potential rematch, but at the same time, I can't say that these two are the best at 115 pounds, because in a previous video I talked about Naoya Inoue. In my opinion, has the ability to beat both of these guys. But in my opinion, once again, both of these guys have the ability to beat Naoya Inoue. So that's what makes the 115 pounds so fucking interesting. Just from 3 fighters alone makes that weight class so interesting to me. But, you know, going back to the fight, man, it was one of those fights where I just couldn't take my eyes off of the screen, man. It drew me in so much. But everybody's different, you know what I'm saying? I talked about it in a different video that, you know, depending on what type of fan you are, what exposure to boxing that you've had, or, you know what I'm saying, or what your preference is overall, you know. Maybe this wasn't the fight for you, or maybe it could have been, you know, like Orlando Salido versus Vargas, which was another exciting fight. Thurman versus Porter, which was another brilliant fight. Santa Cruz versus Frampton, beautiful fight. Robert Easter Jr. versus Richard Comey. You know, I think they got PBC's round of the year, which was an awesome fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many great fights happening this year. Ward Kovalev, not the fucking fight of the year, in my opinion. Maybe one of the most significant fights of this year, but it wasn't the fight of the year. At least that's what I think. But yes, I might be the only one who picked this fight, but let me know if you guys did. Let me know what your fight of the year was for you and why it was. You know, what did you get from it? You know what I'm saying? Why was it that significant to you that made it fight of the year? It could be anything. It could have been Murat Garcia versus Denis Lebedev. You know, it could have been Lomachenko versus Walters. It could have been any fight that was so significant to you that you considered it to be your favorite fight of the year. You know what I'm saying? This is a boxing fans channel. I want to ask the boxing fans, who was your favorite fight of the year? Don't give me that shit that this was the fight of the year, or whatever you say. It is the fight of the year, and everybody should accept that. That's not what boxing, you know, being a boxing fan is about. You don't speak for everybody. I want you to speak for yourself and tell me why you think that the fight that you liked the most this year was your fight of the year. You know what I'm saying? But you guys know my fight of the year. If you agree with me, let me know, man. If you disagree with me, or not disagree with me, but just let me know what your fight of the year was. You know, I keep saying that. Don't agree with me or disagree. Just let me know what your fight was. But also, man, subscribe to the channel. Share the video with your boxing homies. Introduce somebody to boxing. Let them know what your fight of the year was. Show them your fight of the year. Maybe that's enough to hook, you know, another potential boxing fan. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll talk to you guys on the next one. This is Sebastian from The Boxing Tip, signing out. Peace.